Hi, my name is Sai, the lights within. Today's special guest is Ulrika Sullivan. Ulrika Sullivan is a former scientist turned author, intuitive spiritual life coach, and galactic astrologer. She is passionate about helping people connect with our intuition and the natural energy and help increase awareness of our multi-dimensional true self so that we can live with more ease and flow. Ulrika is the author of Wisdom Beyond What You Know, how to shift from the being driven by the mind to living from the heart and intuition. She is the creator of the podcast, New Light Living. See your life in a new light. Welcome, Ulrika Sullivan. Welcome. Welcome,
Thank
Ulrika
you.
Sullivan.
Thank you. Thank you. I am so honored to be here with you on your beautiful podcast. So thank you for the invite.
Oh, thank you so very much. And then we were just chatting before that. Ulrika just matched the beautifully the background somehow. This is like, I don't know, yours is so beautiful, so beautiful. So I am so excited and then happy to be able to ask you the question and then bring you to this channel so that people get to know you better. So I always would like to start talk about how I was led to you and your work. So I am a huge fan of the astrology. Have been learning, studying about different types of the astrology, like Westerns, the Vedic, or many others. And and I was so drawn to, it's called Galactic Astrology, which was presented by Julia Ballard, who is a creator of Quantum Soul Guidance Galactic Astrology. And through her website, I was checking a practitioner and a name, and at the same time, your videos popping up in my YouTube screen. Can't make this up. So I learned, I learned that there were more names of the other stars, planets that I was not familiar before. And when I watched your YouTube video, I so resonated your interpretation of the energy, what that means to all of us collectively, and also to me personally. I just started following your works, and I was able to luckily had a few readings from you. They gave me a totally new awareness of, or I might say something awakening within, the things I was not seeing before. I noticed that my consciousness start expanding, and also your book, The Wisdom Beyond What You Know. I tried this. I hope I'm not disappearing. Okay, yay, I'm
Thank
not
you.
disappearing. I tested before and then book disappeared, I disappeared. So I was so worried about not to be able to show. But I have the audio book, and then hard copy also. I love listening to your audiobook. It's so well written, simple, and also when you talk about the exercise piece, I go to the book. I open the book and I listen to your words and I read at the same time, which is very, very helpful to embody the whole exercising. So here we are. That's how I was led to your work. So
Oh,
welcome.
thank you. Thank you so much for this beautiful introduction. And your journey is beautiful, divinely guided, brought us together, right? So I appreciate your, you coming into my life too, because it's an exchange. So I love that. So thank you very much. I loved doing your readings, and I feel we have together learned a lot and gained more consciousness together. So that's,
Mhm.
it's the times we're in right now where these types of meetings are happening, and I love that you followed your intuitive hit there.
I did. I really did. I mean, also, there was no like a denial anyway anymore. Like I could not resist it any longer feeling inside of me. So I, when I start asking the question now, I know I'm gonna ask you, but then the question can be, maybe some people might not to know what this is. So what is galactic, and what is a galactic astrology meaning
Mm.
to you?
Yeah, thank you for that question. And astrology has been around for thousands of years, traditional astrology, all different types of modalities in astrology. And galactic astrology, as taught by Julia Balaz, has been available to be certified in for the past 2.5 years. And for me personally, I've used astrology for a long time. But when I came across galactic astrology, it just clicked. And the reason it clicked with me was that it provided a bigger perspective, a multidimensional perspective that I hadn't come across before. And you can call it galactic because we are in a time when we are starting to expand our consciousness into relating to our, what I call sometimes the bigger self, the higher self, the soul self, whatever we label we want to put on that part. Generally, humanity is starting to connect with that dimension of ourselves at this time. So it's right on time that we're having something like galactic astrology coming into our awareness. And what really is specific, and what galactic is, it's that through astrology, we can associate our soul journey, basically. So it's for the astrology part of this is more like an anchor for understanding or connecting with our soul's journey. Because sometimes, it's it's everything in the unseen is hard to kind of grasp, right? I don't really understand it, or I sometimes we just want to see or feel or touch with our senses something, but galactic astrology binds together our understanding of our soul's journey at that level with astrology, which is a energy tool, basically a navigation system that is not only used for to look into someone's energetic blueprint, right? How our energetic makeup looks like, how we run energy, for example. But it can also, with galactic astrology, we can start to connect to various parts of our own soul journey where we potentially have incarnated as a soul or have association as a soul to other parts beyond Earth. And that's that's exciting. And I mean, through the years, many people have had intuitive senses of maybe I'm not from here, or maybe I'm having had experiences in another life form somewhere else, or maybe that's all what happens at the same time. Uh, this is quantum information, and astrology anchors it very elegantly, I feel.
Mm. Yes. So what do you mean by the multi-dimensional self? Meaning that what that means?
Yes, let's explore. um, so when I think about my own multidimensional self, it is everything about me that is unseen. Because here I am, like in a body with clothes on and eyeglasses and so on, right? And often it may feel that, oh, I'm just here in a body and I go to work, I go to the grocery store, I come home and eat, and all those things, right? But then I also experience sometimes synchronicities, like somebody calls me and I just thought of them. It's like that's an unseen thing, just like my videos came up in your feed on YouTube. That's also like, how does that really happen, right? So it is really our multidimensional self that is so much more than what we think we are. And our energetic connections are way beyond what we believe they are, way beyond, I mean, our connection to the universe. So our multidimensional self is something that we're about to learn more about. And it's about our self-perception. Who am I really? And that is in the times we're in, we're having an invitation now to start expanding on that understanding. So that's what I call our multidimensional self. And it's also inclusive of all our soul experiences through multiple eons of soul incarnations. And that is hard sometimes to get our heads around. Like, how is that possible? I'm
Yeah,
here now, right? But there's so much more.
exactly. So you said you were studying astrology, you are using astrology for a long time, but how did you exactly get into galactic astrology? What's called you? What made you, or how that happened to you to get
It
into?
happened. It happened actually in a similar way that happened when you connected to me,
Mm.
because I came across Julia's website basically on my feed, and there was something there that, I'm curious about this. And that's often how it works, right? If we listen to that intuitive hit and a curiosity comes across, right? Just like you did, I want to learn more about this. That's how I got into it. And I just learned that this certification program was newly opened. And of course, now in hindsight, right, it's divine timing. It's synchronicities that our higher self, our bigger self is well aware of. But, in on the physical plane here, we have a very linear way of looking at things. So yes, for me, that's how I got into it. And I signed up for her certification course and off I went. So, it was
Fast,
simple as that. Yeah.
fast. You took off very fast, I think. Yes,
Yes.
I think
Yes.
so. So then how the galactic astrology impacted your life?
So I would say that before galactic astrology came into my life, I had a pretty good connection to my higher self, my multidimensional self, but not at the level I have now. And so for me, the impact is really that have changed the perception of who I am. And it has expanded into knowing that I'm part of the universe, that I'm not separate from the physical plane, but also the other dimensions that I'm part of as a soul, that we all are. So I can connect and see all of these different levels within myself, because it's also within ourselves. It's not necessarily always external to us, this experience of a multidimensional self. That's often very much so. We look out in the sky, right? And we think it's out there. No, it has expanded, and that's the biggest impact. It has expanded my inner experience of myself, my soul. And that is both a physical experience, but also the connection, with the unseen, and the trust in the unseen as well. So that it's huge. And the elegance of galactic astrology is that it provides a framework, a language to describe, because that's we, on the physical plane, astrology has been used as a tool to mediate between the unseen and the physical plane, and trying to explain all the intricacies of the universe. And it's similar to this, right? There's a language now that I have, that I can use to connect with others, because it's a universal language.
Mm.
So that has made it a lot easier to kind of talk about it, because everyone has a birth chart. And galactic astrology is really putting what I call an outer layer of fixed stars, celestial bodies, and galactic points that are further out than in our solar system. We are very familiar with, in astrology, like our own solar system. And the most immediate planets that are influencing us, or rather the energetic archetypal movements, cycles that we follow in astrology. But then we add the galactic bit, it's much wider, much, a bigger perspective that we're ready for now.
Yeah, I think so. We see so many areas and on the YouTube too. It's like everywhere that I see. And so then you are incredible intuitive life coach. I just I when I read this book, it's just really so well written. And then also on your YouTube videos, when you do the galactic astrology, you give the questions that we can use, which is so helpful, especially for the new moon and the full
Thank you.
moon. Yeah, very, very helpful. So what is your experience to so utilizing galactic astrology and your
Mm.
intuitive coaching skill together? Do you see any correlations or patterns in people's lives?
Absolutely. Yes. I love that you ask this question, because a reading can be very much a download of information, but then, like, what do we do with that? So the coaching is really the integration of that bigger perspective, that the new insights that we gain of ourselves, and that I take that into coaching with someone to help integrate what does that mean in my life, and how do I change perspective on some of the relationships I have, for example, because we have spent lifetimes together, and things like that can change our viewpoint on current events. It can change our viewpoints on our relationship. Most of it is relationship based, but also who we are, and our purpose here. And I think the intuitive coaching is more the long term. Like, I call it the turtle way, right? You have to take one step at a time. And sometimes people don't want to hear that. It takes time to shift. And often we need a partner, a partnership, a trusted, objective person who can be the mirror for that change, as we go. So that's how I really use galactic astrology, very much in tandem with intuitive coaching. And you know, the real power of this is how someone is using their insights to shift their perspective on things in their lives that they want to change or expand into. So it goes very much hand in hand. And I'm very grateful that I became a coach first, worked with that for a while, and now Galactic Astrology, so I could integrate the two passions of my life, right? So it's beautiful to be part of someone's journey in expansion like that. Yeah.
That's so beautiful. I too myself, I got the coaching certificate so that I do the coaching and then I learned astrology. So I utilize it also.
Yes.
It just,
Yes. So
I know,
powerful.
yeah, it is so powerful. I know what you are talking about here, the explaining things. So, but you're so beautifully done. I highly recommend the book. It's just so
Thank
amazing.
you.
I listen all the time, by the way. Yeah, it's and then so you put the word together, sentence together. You're such a great writer.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yes, yes. I think I was going to just mention to you because English is not my first language, and then I believe you are as well. You was not.
Yeah, English is not my first language
Yeah.
either.
So
So,
and then I'm very curious about the language. So when it comes to the language, even when I'm looking at reading a books, sometimes it get confusing for me to understand. And this book, it's just so clear and so it's just all like I don't know your scientific background. It's just doing this work, but it's a beautiful, beautiful book, and
thank you.
I love it. So as
Yeah,
a
it was very much. I now in hindsight, I realize it was very much channeled. Like I knew it was meant to be coming down as a book. So, yeah, it was a very beautiful experience, and it's also very, my passion is to make it into practical, useful work, whether it's a video I share, I have the questions at the end, or the book with where you can actually work with it yourself. And that's yeah, it's a beautiful passion that I have, that I can integrate these things together.
yes, when you write about you talk about the smell of the aroma, I was just even like a feeling. I'm like, oh, that's so like I was a feeling was coming through this book. So I love that. I think that's exactly not from the mind, but then a
Yeah.
heart
Yeah, and
sensation.
also the seven shifts that the book is really giving is very much what humanity is going through at this point. The acknowledgement of that we all have trauma, for example, but that we also can shift that into potential, and it can take a journey from how we use our mind and our logic to using our hearts and intuition instead. And that's very essential as far as how we can tap into our multidimensional self too, because it's not through logic or linear thinking that happens. It's through the synchronicities, the heart frequency, how yeah, in a way it feels like how relaxed we are on the inside is is helping the heart and intuition to bloom and open up. And that's very much what the book is about, to connect with our multidimensional self in that sense and live that way.
Yeah, so beautiful. So beautiful. So it's coming to the last question for today. And you did mention about the humanity here. And what is your message for humanity right now?
Ooh, thank you for the opportunity. And I had to make myself a little bit of a note here because, this is a big question. Yeah, my messages for humanity are, I really would like to instill hope because the transition that we're in now is very much in a process of acknowledging our trauma and the fear patterns that we are as a humanity holding. And we are in the process of becoming more aware of that, that is actually fear patterns that we have either inherited through our ancestral karma. I use the word karma because it basically is a energy balance that we're in right now, and we're invited to shift negative energy patterns to more positive energy patterns. And if we call it, masculine energy versus feminine energy, there's two different charges, and we are in the process of moving more towards receptive energy, feminine energy, where we can become more intuitive, become more receptive, and that takes a process of releasing fear. So on the surface, it may not look like it's that comfortable, but the hope comes in within each one of us when we can feel that little shift within ourselves. Everyone is invited to make a small shift from, let's say, a win-lose perspective to a win-win perspective on something in our lives. That really is my message to humanity, that everyone is invited to take it down to our small personal self, not the small personal self. I don't mean small in that sense, but a small little thing can make a big difference. And in addition, we're also invited to move away from an era of focusing on accumulation into serving a bigger perspective, a bigger whole, a bigger community, and have that perspective. So there's a shift in all of this that I also feel would be beneficial to kind of contemplate. How can I shift my perspective from needing more to how can I serve? Whether it's a small group or a small cause, right? It doesn't have to be big. I think that's my message too, as I use the word small, right? But I think everyone who's watching or listening can appreciate that changes happens within ourselves. And it sometimes does not have to be the big changes that does the difference. It is actually the small, subtle shifts that makes the biggest difference if we just kind of one step at a time, right? And yeah, so that's really what I feel is super important and something to hold on to in the times we're in.
I agree with that. It's it takes the courage to stepping into that little tiny piece of the actions that I think when we choose, when we're making a decision, and then for you to you introduced about the multi-dimensional self, like that bigger view of that. It's combination of that things. It's I hope we are all we are doing together.
Yes, we're in it together. And if someone is listening or watching this, when you are asking yourself, like, who am I really? That's when this process of discovery starts. And for many, that question hasn't been asked yet. Like, who am I really? But this is an invitation to, it's okay to ask that question because there's so much more to everyone than what we may have discovered about ourselves. And there's curiosity in that.
So true. Thank you. Thank you. So, Ulrika, where people can find your beautiful works?
Yes, I invite everyone to check out my YouTube channel, and that is my name, Ulrika Sullivan. So if you search for that, I will come up. And you are also invited to visit my website, which is also my name, ulrikasullivan.com. And there's my book and also my astrology work, Galactic Astrology and readings that I offer. And a little bit of about me you can read there on the website as well if you're curious. So come visit me there.
And then you also recently created on the YouTube the membership,
Oh, yes.
which I am a member too. So
Yes, I know. And thank you for being such a beautiful member. Yeah, so I created that because for those who really enjoy my videos and want more, and also for those who want to ask me questions, and that could be on personal, galactic alignments in your own chart as well. And I also post members only videos there at the galaxy level where I will post regular extensions to movies, to videos, not movies. We'll see that. But also special topics may come. And also I'm thinking of maybe develop also live sessions. So we'll see. We are in it together. So whoever wants to join and explore this with me, I'm excited about that. So thank you
yeah.
for bringing that up.
Oh, sure. I am so excited. I am digging in. So yes, thank you so very much. And
Thank you.
thank you. So I look forward to seeing you on the YouTube and then all your beautiful work. And thank you, Ulrika. Namaste.
Namaste.